This is Minute with Hug. I'm going to talk today about some terminology that will definitely be useful as we move forward in our conversation. I'm Hug, and I'm glad you could join me on this important topic. The loss of a loved one is life's most stressful event and can cause a major emotional crisis. So, we'll go over some terminology today that will help. First one, grief. What is grief? You keep hearing grief, 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 but what does it mean? Okay. Grief is defined as a reaction to any form of loss. It is what we think and feel on the inside when someone we love dies. Examples of grief can include fear, loneliness, panic, pain, yearning, anxiety, etc. Okay, grief is the internal meaning that we give to an experience, or we give to the experience of the void of someone or something we lost. And the death of a loved one, as I mentioned, departure of a good friend, bidding someone goodbye, can be very traumatic. Remember, especially when we're children, being moved, moving schools, for example, would be one example of some of the deep feelings of sadness that we could feel on the inside. The loss of a pet could also be another one. A divorce can also be an instance of grief. In fact, a friend of mine succinctly put it as the death of a dream. Okay, so you can think of grief as the death of a dream. Mourning is the outward expression of one's grief. And so I mentioned grief is typically internal, it's what you experience on the inside, the feelings you have on the inside. And mourning is the outward expression of deep sorrow for someone who's died. And mourning can often involve following certain conventions, such as, shaving your head, wearing white clothes, black clothes, yellow clothes, depending on the culture you are from, fasting, etc. Okay, and so it is the outward expression of one's grief. And bereavement, for that matter, refers to the process of recovering from the death of a loved one, the emotional and physical experience that happens after grief. After the death of someone you love, you experience bereavement, which literally means to be deprived by death. So, for example, personally, most of last week, I was flat on my back. I was in so much pain. The emotions that I was feeling expressed themselves and were pronounced through different parts of my body. I had to actually go into physio and a chiropractor to help mitigate that. So that is bereavement. So we've gone through what grief is, the internal feelings, mourning, the outward expression of one's grief, and bereavement, well, the process of recovering, which, in other words, being deprived of by death, and therefore the process that you go through in trying to recover from this tremendous loss and major emotional crisis in your life. So that's been the death of a dream, grief, mourning, bereavement. And so now, moving forward in our future discussions, we'll continue to expand on ways that we can help cope with this process and through a well-defined plan, because success is a result of having a plan, a well-defined plan, and then following through with following the plan. So I hope you can join me. I'm here to help. My name is Hug, and this is Minute with Hug. Thank you.